The first thing you need to know about getting your ex back is that the heartbreak you feel is 100% legit. When we are attached to someone or in love with someone, our physiology literally changes. So our neurotransmitters emit or eject, no, not eject, what's the word? Release. Bam. Our neurotransmitters release endorphins when we're with them. We feel good. We become addicted, just like if you're on cocaine or heroin, it affects the same centers of the brain. So when you're broken up with, you are actually going through a withdrawal. This is real. You'll feel it in your heart. There's actually physiological changes that are chemically elicited from your brain that are affecting your heart. So just so you know, validation of your feelings is real. So that's kind of just the first tip. But it's relevant because the first step is to realize that you are going to need to go through a 60 to 90 day detox, just like you would from an actual drug. Because it takes between 30 and 66 days approximately, depending on the depth of the habit, to be able to get over those initial irrational feelings. So you just have to understand that step one is your mental acceptance of the 30 to 60 day detox. And the more attached you are, the more likely you're going to have to go with a longer length of that time frame. If you're watching this video, you're probably looking at 60 days. So 60 days detox, we're going to go into what that means as we go through the other steps. So the step number 2, or the second point about getting your ex back, is that you have to be committed now to becoming the best actor that you've ever been. You are going to be in a role that needs to be able to commit and convince yourself that it's actually true. In other words, you're going to have to play a part that doesn't feel accurate or right or true for you right now. And it's not the heartbroken, needy, desperate, clingy, or overly attentive ex-boyfriend. That's not the role you're going to be playing. So that's step 2, is you're going to commit to the role of getting the girl back, not of pushing her further away, because that's what's happened. You pushed her away. All right, step number 3, or tip number 3. Do not contact. I know you want to. You want to reach out. You want to explain. You want to apologize. Don't do it. You can't contact, because anything you say right now is going to look desperate and needy. And if she's left you, it's because she needs space. She needs you to not contact her. The more you chase, the more they run away. Do not contact. Now you're asking me, okay, well, what happens if she contacts me? We're going to go over that in step number 9, so stay tuned for that. If you thought step number 3 is going to be tough, step number 4 might be even more difficult. No cyber stalking, no checking any of her social media, no liking her social media, no making comments on her social media. She does not exist to you during this 60-day or potentially 30-day detox phase. She doesn't exist. Pretend she doesn't have any social media. Now, of course, you're not going to do this. But if you do cyber stalk her, at the very least, do not make any evidence that you are doing that. If you like her comment or her picture or her meme or her selfie or her whatever, that shows her that you are following her, that you are paying attention, that you care. Right now, anything that remotely seems like caring is going to feel smothering to her. She needs space. She wants to believe you are out doing something other than her. So no social media, no likes, no comments, no nothing. It's like you don't exist to her anymore. Which brings me to number 5. You have to give her all the space she needs. How much space does she need? She needs as much space as it takes for her to actually come back to you. So if she hasn't come back, she hasn't contacted, she hasn't connected, she hasn't reached out, she hasn't initiated, then she's not ready yet. Do not chase her. Don't even think you're being sneaky by trying to show up in some of the places that you know she frequents. You avoid those places. You avoid those places like she is the zombie who's going to eat your dead heart. Because right now she is. So you need to rebuild your heart so that you can actually get the girl back, if she's going to be the girl back, or another girl who's not going to eat your dead heart, because your heart won't be dead and she won't be a zombie heart-eating beast, because that's what she is right now. You avoid her like she is the zombie. who's going to eat your heart. She already has, but it's dead. But now she wants to eat more of it. I don't even know where I'm going with this. The point is, do not go to places where you think she might be. And don't try to fool yourself. Don't try to fool your friends. And you can't fool me. Don't go to those places. Avoid those places. You do not exist to her, and she does not exist to you. She's got to be out of the picture entirely. So this brings us to number 6. Lean on friends and family, but don't lean on anybody that's going to tell her that you're suffering over her. That's not good. Remember that the rule is you want her to not know anything about you, about what's going on in your world right now, because you need to build up the mystery again. You need to have her curious about what you're up to. If she knows that you are still suffering because of the breakup, that just shows weakness. I know it's natural, but it's weak and unattractive. And the longer she knows that you're doing that, the longer she'll stay away. So if you're going to lean on friends and family, make sure that you're leaning on people who will not tell her that you're still suffering. And if you can't do that, avoid all those people. I'm sorry, but you have to avoid all those people, which means you need to get out and have a life, which I think that brings me to number 7. Does it or does it? It does. 7, self-improvement. So this means that you're going to assume that you're never going to get together again. You're going to assume that you want to be with a different girl down the road who's not going to actually leave you because of your weakness or your clinginess. So that means that you need to work on self-improvement. This means getting your ass back in the gym. If you've never been in a gym, start going to a gym. Start taking martial arts, or do something to improve your physical health. One, your physical health will also release endorphins, which will help replace the ones that she stole away with her. And 2, you're going to physically look and feel better, and that will give you more confidence in the world with other women. So that's one area that you need to work on, is physical fitness and health. And then you also need to look at every other area in your life where you may have sort of slipped up or fallen back or not progressed when you were in the relationship with her. So what's happening with your career? Have you slacked off because you're spending too much time with her? What about finances? Are you in debt because you spent too much money on her? These are things that are not attractive qualities. She might have indulged herself in the benefits of that behavior, but deep down, underneath all that, she is looking at the qualifications you have as a long-term partner, and someone who's financially irresponsible is not one of them. Someone who disregards his other friendships for her is not a great trait. Someone who lets himself go physically, that's not going to be someone who she's going to be confident is going to live into long life with her. Even though you may not have talked about all the way down the road, in the subconscious of our mind, we're always thinking about that. Women are always thinking about what you're going to look like as a partner down the road. And if you're displaying characteristics and qualities that are starting to slide, she's looking at the scale of what that's going to look like in the long run. And if it doesn't look good, and if it especially doesn't look good right now, then she's going to get turned off. So the only way to get her or get anybody else of quality in future is to work on all of those areas of your life that you've slacked on or that could use improvement, even if they were stable when you were with her. You want to become a higher value man. And there's a lot of different areas you can look at. I've done other videos on that. And I go over that a lot in my Wake Up to Love course, which of course there'll be a link below. You can look at that if you're interested. All right, so that brings us to number 8, your social media. So you are going to not post anything on social media unless and until you are posting sparingly, always leave them wanting more, leave some mystery, and you're only going to post positives, like you're taking martial arts, and you're not doing it to brag or boast or gloat. You're doing it super subtle in a way that shows her that you're just moving on with your life and you're improving yourself. That any woman who sees that would be like, oh wow, that guy is awesome. That guy's cool. Like, maybe that's someone I need to get to know a bit better. That's what you want her to feel about you again. So you're going to only post very infrequently, about half the time that you usually post or less. So that's your sort of rule of thumb. Half as much as you usually post or less, and only positive stuff that shows that you are improving your life and getting on with your life and that you don't need anybody. Women do not want to be needed. They want to be wanted. They want to be desired, but they cannot be needed. If you need them, you are like another dependent or like a dependent. You are like a child. She doesn't want a child. She wants a man. You have to become that man again for her or for somebody else if she's not the one for you. So that brings us to what, number 9? Number 9, the one you've been waiting for. What if she contacts you? Wow, well, okay, great, awesome. How quickly do you get back to her? Well, it depends on how long it's taken her to reach out to you. If you were, regularly texting every day and she hasn't texted you in a week, then wait a day. If you've been texting every day and she hasn't contacted you in a month, then wait a day. Maybe wait 2 or 3 days. It's okay to wait because she made you wait all that time before even reaching out. You're busy now. You have a life. You are not needy and desperate and clingy. You're not the man that she chose to leave. You're a new man. So you have to remember that. This is the acting role of your life. You are a new man who does not need her. And then when you do reply, because you do reply, the key is don't be bitter. Don't be pouty. Be fun, playful, charismatic, teasing, and be brief. Because one, even though she may have treated you really poorly, she may have broken up with you in the most your highness, no, in the most awful way. If you chastise her or get mad at her, then you're doing 2 things. One, you're not encouraging her to come back because you've made her feel bad, and she will associate whatever feelings she has inside with you. So if you make her feel like shit, she's not going to want to come back to you. This is different than being alpha. This is making her purposefully feel badly, like guilt tripping. Bad. Don't do that. Don't guilt trip. And the second thing is that you want to be able to communicate in a way that also entices her to want to come back, because you'll still get the chance to go over how she hurt you later. But if you do that right away, she's just going to go away again. So it's not that you're not going to call her out on taking responsibility for her actions. You're just not going to do it yet. So if she reaches out and you still think you're interested in her, because you might change your mind along the way. It happens a lot, believe it or not. Right now you're in pain. Very often, by the time the girl comes back, he's got some sense about him and he realizes, wait a minute, she's not perfect. I put her on a pedestal. Oh, this is a good one. I just saw this somewhere else. If you put her on a pedestal, she will look down on you. Isn't that a great quote? I gotta remember. If I ever think of where I found that, I will write it in the comments below. Yeah, I'll put it in a note. But anyways, so if you put her on a pedestal, she's gonna look down on you. So you want to encourage her to come back if you're interested in her coming back. If you've actually got to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Then just be kind, because the third thing about your communication when she first initiates is that if you show any kind of negative emotion or feeling, then she knows you still care. That's not going to be in your favor. That means that she has still all the power. So you need to be neutral. You need to be grounded. You need to be like, she's this like new person who's shown up in your life that you never knew before. There's no history there, no anger, no bitterness, no resentment. You don't need to have those feelings because you don't need her. So just remember that. And when she does contact you, if you're interested in getting back together with her, if you still are, or if you just want closure, then you have a very brief conversation. Remember, texting is for information, not conversation. Like information as in, when are we going to meet? What time? I'm running late. Not for having deep conversations that you should have in person, face to face. So you have a brief conversation. If it seems like she's still keen to move forward, which she might be testing the waters to see how you respond, then you can say, hey, let's get together. But go for coffee. Don't make it a date. And say right in your text or message or phone call or whatever, this is not a date. Let's just get together. And then when you get together, then you can gauge when you see her if you want to talk about what went wrong. And at that point too, you can also call her out on her crappy, immature, emotionally insecure, and selfish behavior of the way she left you, if it was so. Like, so if she just basically ghosted you, then you can say, hey, that was an asshole thing to do. Like, what kind of a human being does that? Really? That's what you've got to offer? Maybe you're not such a great catch after all. Never say, what did I do wrong? It just shows weakness. So you're going to say, how could things have been different? Do you know what you were actually looking for that you weren't able to verbalize? And probably she won't be able to tell you, but she is probably feeling that you lost yourself in her. It happens all the time. And she won't necessarily be able to articulate that, but that's what it is. So, you now need to prove to her, because words mean nothing, actions mean everything. And based on your actions up to this point will probably show her that you've also become a different person, because she's going to see the things that you've done to improve your life because of social media, or you can tell her what you've been up to. Not to brag, because women are really super intuitive about your intentions behind the words. She'll know what your purpose is when you're actually sharing what you've been doing in your life. So you need to be cool and casual. Okay, so that brings us to number 10. No negativity. Be cool, only positive, only playful, only charismatic, only a happy person. You need to be looking like you've done better on your own without her than she's done without you. That will draw her back to you. Okay? You've done better than she has. You are happier than she is. You don't have to be like, ooh, Mr. Magoo, but you can't be wallowing in anything negative, because also negativity shows you can't handle life. And that's a quality that women look for long-term relationships. Happiness is contagious. People want that. They want that positive energy. And if you are the happier person, the person who's got shit going on in their life, if you are doing well, then that will be more attractive than you're lost without her. Really? That you think being lost without her is attractive? Not attractive. You need to own that shit. Sorry, that's your responsibility. Okay, and then number 11. When you're talking to her, you're going to be curious. Never beg. Never use logic. Women are not logical creatures. We base all of our relationship decisions based on feelings. It's just the way we are. So if you try to rationalize or reason with her or explain yourself about why you did the things you did or why she should come back to you, then that will just turn her off even more. So there's no rationalizing. There's no reasoning. All you're going to do is talk about things that make you look better in her eyes. And that's not about bragging, but again, it's casually mentioning that, hey, yeah, you've started martial arts and you're thinking about going back to school, or you asked for that promotion that you've been putting off for such a long time, or you started a new cyber business, or you whatever that will actually impress anybody. That's what you want to talk about, but you don't want to go on endlessly about it, because it's really obvious, and then it's boasting and bragging, and that then just becomes the opposite of what it's intended to, and looks like insecurity, and that you are trying to impress her. So the key is you need to be in that acting role, the mindset where you are doing well, you're doing better than you were when you were with her. So that's why it's really key to do the detox part of it, because you need to be working on all these things in order for them to start feeling authentically true for you, and not just something that Anna the wingman has told me to do so that I don't constantly think about this girl and overanalyze every moment of the day. That's what you do. I know you do. Hey, I know you do. But that's okay. So you just need to focus on doing these other things so you can get your mind off her for a while. And then eventually that stuff actually becomes real inside you. And you're like, oh man, I am pretty good. I'm a freaking good catch. You are a good catch. Remember, watch that other video. I'll put that other video maybe in a link below. That your mindset is so important. Okay, and then the 12th tip or 12th step to getting your ex back is, if and when you're with her, laugh about the good times. Like, not as in, oh, I'm so sad that we don't have that anymore. But think about some of the good times that you did have with her, and just kind of bring those up casually in the conversation. Be like, remember when we did that? Yeah, ha ha ha. Remember that laughter also releases endorphins. So ultimately, the lesson that you're learning here is that logic means nothing. The feelings she has when she's with you is how she relates to you. If you have her laughing, if you have her curious or intrigued by this new you or this new life that you've got, then she's going to be more apt and more interested in coming back to potentially explore a relationship with you. And if you get to that point, that's kind of the whole separate thing, but you are going to start fresh, and you're not going to go too fast, and you might even need to date other people while you're dating each other, and that's a whole other video. So if you're interested in that part, let me know, and I will put it on my list of videos to do. And then finally, the bonus tip is that if you're really, really struggling and you're in the middle of this conflict within yourself about what to do in a situation, then you can always hire a coach. And there are a lot of great coaches out there that deal with relationship breakups. It's particularly important because time is of the essence. You know, you get a message and you're not really sure how to handle it because, like, what do I do? What do I say? Sort of thing. So that's always another option, that if you're really struggling, it's worth an investment, even over a short period of time, if you really like this person, to not mess it up any further, because that's the key. Is there's always a possibility she already was attracted to you in the past and then she became unattracted. So it's not that you're physically repulsive to her, it's that you have become emotionally repulsive to her. So you are able to get past that and get her back in a different way, in a different relationship, then she can come back to you, because there's some women that you can't get because they're just never going to be attracted to you. In this case, you've already proven that she was attracted to you, but then you messed it up. So if you don't want to mess it up further, then a coach is a really good way to handle that time where you're just not sure what to do in the immediate presence. And just hang in there. Don't do anything crazy. You're wanted in this world. You're better than this. Most of the times of the guys that I've worked with who got their ex back, and they all did come back to some degree or another, they all dumped them. Maybe one. I think one maybe tried it for a while and then dumped her. And then another guy, I mean, he, let's see, was it 3 weeks? I think it was within 3 weeks. And he was so suffering, man. And but then he met someone else who was even better. And by the time the girl really did come back, like, she kind of had come back, but not enough to make it worth him moving forward. And by the time she did, he was already lost on the new girl. There's not one person out there for you. And if this one is a real struggle to be with, then it might not be the right fit. And even if it's because of the things that you did that actually ended up having her want to leave you, and even if you can fix all those things, she might not come back to you. That's the reality. She might not come back to you, but you'll be a better man for the next one, and you can get a better girl on the next. Yeah, thanks for being here. And it's okay. You're going to get through this. You will get through this.